Okay guys, so you get the idea. This is what it's been like all week. Hold up. Ready, watch? See? Nothing that way. Nothing that way. And I don't know if you saw earlier in the week, we caught something near the bin. It was doing this knocking crap. And then my daughter caught something like a wolfy type creature coming around the bin. Go back and watch the video. What the hell? It sounded like the gate going. What? Hold on. I think you can hear that, guys, but that tap's not running. Hold up, I'll show you. Can you hear that? Can you hear it? That is insane. Listen. You can actually hear water going down the plug hole. What the hell? Hold up a second. Now the toilet. Listen. That toilet has not flushed. What? Tap's going again. And when it's not going. It just sounds like it's going. This is insane. No, it sounds like it's stopped. That is just nuts. Absolutely nuts. Toilet still sounds like it's thinking. That is the gate again. Well, we've had the knocking sounds. Like, you know what I mean? What is it? What was it now? Thursday? Yeah, since Monday. No, before Monday. At the weekend as well. And that has been driving us nuts. It can happen for hours. And next door neighbours get pissed off because they can hear it too. And then, but we've never had this tap sound before. I just hope the camera's picking it up, on my phone. And it's not just audible in my ears. You know what I mean? Oh, here we go. Sorry guys, I can't keep doing this because I can't stand up for long. Okay, gotta get in the door.
Being a security guard is so creepy.
Dude, like, I'm so on edge now. So freaking on edge. It's creepy, man. It's so freaking creepy. I don't know. Dude, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? What the hell was that? What the heck? These freaking chairs just moved. What the Okay. I'm done.
I've always been a loner and a geek my whole life. I didn't successfully come out of my shell in college, although I wanted to. That's why I moved into the dorm rooms near my campus in the first place. I figured it'd be a great way to meet people and socialize, but I ended up getting straddled with huge room and board expenses on top of my tuition debt. I never managed to make any friends in my hall. That's how I caved in and fell back on being a parasocial weirdo through the gateway of the internet. Through Omegle more specifically. It's a website that pairs you up with random strangers so you can text or video chat. That's where I spent most of my time trying to meet people in the online world. But in a lot of ways, it was more of the same of what I got in the real world. Most people skip me almost immediately. A lot of the people that I managed to have conversations with were older men, who seemed insightful at first, but then turned out to be weird and creepy. Then, of course, there was the classic Omegle horde of people without a webcam trying to bait me to give out my ASL. But every once in a while, there was a good conversation to be had with someone who wasn't trying to seduce me. I held out hope to get paired with people like them through dealing with all the BS. One night, after I finished studying, I turned off the lights in my room so people wouldn't see it behind me. Then I hopped onto Omegle to look for a decent person to talk to. That night, more than all the others, went off to an insane start. The very first stranger I encountered was instantly showing me their bare feet. I could tell it was a man's by the hairy legs and toes, too. They were standing on top of their desk with their camera pointed straight at their ingrown toenails. I was frozen by the sight of it. I had no idea what to say to something like that, so I didn't say anything. I didn't skip, though. I was hoping it would go somewhere entertaining. And I was more than used to seeing exposed ugly people, since that sort of thing was oddly common to see on Omegle. After a long, awkward silence, I tried to open the conversation. Hi.
Well, hi there.
Nice feet.
Thanks, I've been told.
Can I see your face, sir?
Only if you let me show you my special talent.
You have a special talent? Sure, man, bring it on.
Splendid! Stay right there. Don't you dare click skip, you got that?
Okay. A split second later, the stranger put a watermelon-sized glass jar down the desk between his legs and shouted like he was pretending to be a magician or something. He then said,
I call this act one man, one jar. I call this act one man, one jar. Are you ready to see my contortionism demonstration?
Sure.
I said, are you ready to see my contortionism demonstration?
Yeah, man, do it!
Alright, brace yourself.
The man then put both his feet in the jar. Then, he crouched down and stuffed in his legs. I watched in awe as he squeezed his entire body into it, until it was completely inside the jar. His face was visible, but was completely smushed up against the glass, and I could finally see his face. He looked to be some balding middle-aged guy living in a drafty old apartment. Then, with his one free arm, he reached over and grabbed a lid and somehow managed to put it on top of himself, closing the jar with his entire body sealed inside. I couldn't tell if the pressure was distorting his face or if he was just crazy, but he smiled at me very disturbingly, like he was waiting for me to applaud. I didn't have any words. I couldn't comprehend how a grown man had fit himself into something so small.
Well, what do you think?
That's very cool, but can you get out?
Can I get out? Of course I can get out. Watch.
That's when he tried to push the lid off, but as soon as I saw it not move, the man's smile started to slowly vanish from his face. I knew something was wrong. He kept trying to push himself up to get the lid off his back, but he wasn't able to budge it. He was too tightly packed in there to maneuver, and he couldn't get any leverage from the position he was in. All of a sudden, panic was written all over him. His face turned red and puffy, and he frantically tried to move whatever he could, but all of it barely amounted to anything more than rattling his cage. Quickly, it started to seem as though he was having trouble breathing, too.
Help me! I can't move, I'm stuck! Oh God, I'm stuck! Help!
I don't know what to do!
Get me out of here, please!
But I don't know where you are! Tell me where you are and I'll call the cops! After the reality had set in that he was completely stuck, the panic had turned into utter despair. He was sobbing incoherently, completely incapable of forming words. Tears and snot and drool streaming from his face and down inside the wall of the jar.
What is your location? Tell me!
I'm in my apartment. Please come find me. Please. Come find me.
What's your address? Please, that's all I need to know and you'll be okay! Damn it, man, focus!
No!
Damn it, man, focus!
No! It only took me a second to realize what I had done. I became so panicked and frustrated that I accidentally pressed the skip button when I banged my fist on the table, causing me and the stranger to be disconnected forever. I'll never be able to properly describe that sinking feeling I felt in that moment, knowing I had just doomed that man to his unusual fate of slowly suffocating, trapped, alone, unable to move. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. I didn't think there was anything I could do. If I called the police, they wouldn't be able to find him since I never heard his address. I didn't record any of it, and there's no way of knowing where somebody is from Omegle. Without a better idea, I swore to never go back on there. I tried to forget that I was ever on Omegle in the first place. I actually got drunk for the first time that night, in hopes that I could go to bed and sleep without much trouble. But God knows, even after all these years, there's nothing that will get the image of that trapped man in a jar out of my head. It's been haunting me for so long. Every day I wonder what happened to him, if anybody ever came to rescue him, or if those moments he spent with me over the internet were his last moments with anyone. These days, I remember one man, one jar as a friend.
Carry on without me. Oh, you don't see me, but I have been only falling. On the outside, I'm falling down below.
A tricycle is steering itself around the road. It turns several times, then pedals off down the street.